Climate Change Adaptation and Coastal Erosion. Title: Climate Change Adaptation and Coastal Erosion, Protecting Vulnerable Coastlines. Introduction, 100 words. Climate change is rapidly driving changes in our planet's ecosystems, with one of the most noticeable effects being coastal erosion. Rising sea levels, increased storm intensity, and changing weather patterns are responsible for the accelerated loss of coastlines worldwide. Coastal erosion poses a significant threat to human populations, ecosystems, and infrastructure. However, through effective climate change adaptation strategies, we can mitigate the impacts of coastal erosion and protect these vulnerable areas. This article will discuss the causes and consequences of coastal erosion, exp. Lore adaptation measures, and highlight the importance of implementing sustainable solutions. Causes of coastal erosion, 250 words. Coastal erosion is primarily caused by natural and anthropogenic factors, exacerbated by the impacts of climate change. Natural factors include wave action, currents, and weathering processes, which erode the coastline over time. However, the acceleration of these processes is largely due to human activities. Poor land management practices, such as deforestation and improper beachfront development, disrupt natural sediment flows and increase vulnerability to erosion. Additionally, climate change-induced sea level rise and intensification of storms contribute significantly to coastal erosion. Rates. Consequences of coastal erosion, 250 words. Coastal erosion has severe consequences for both natural ecosystems and human communities. Ecologically, it leads to the loss of critical habitats such as wetlands and coral reefs, disrupting fragile ecosystems and reducing biodiversity. Furthermore, it affects the distribution and abundance of marine wildlife, impacting fisheries and coastal tourism. For human populations, coastal erosion threatens lives, property, and livelihoods. As shorelines recede, densely populated coastal areas become increasingly vulnerable to flooding and storm surges. His results in the destruction of homes, infrastructure, and the displacement of communities. Coastal erosion also impacts economies dependent on coastal resources for industries such as tourism, fishing and shipping. Adaptation measures, 500 words. Adaptation to coastal erosion and climate change requires comprehensive planning and sustainable solutions. Here are some key adaptation measures. 1. Managed retreat. In areas with significant erosion and frequent flooding, strategically relocating buildings and infrastructure away from the coastline is an effective long-term strategy. This approach allows for the natural resilience of coastal ecosystems and reduces property damage. 2. Soft engineering. Utilizing nature-based solutions, such as beach nourishment, dune restoration, and wetland creation, helps absorb wave energy, protecting coastlines from erosion. These techniques mimic natural coastal processes and promote ecosystem services, providing multiple benefits. 3. Hard engineering. Traditionally employed methods such as seawalls, groins, and breakwaters, although effective in the short term, can have negative impacts on ecosystems and sediment transport. Hay should be implemented cautiously, considering long-term implications. 4. Sustainable coastal development. Proper planning and zoning regulations are essential to prevent further exacerbation of coastal erosion. Restricting construction in high-risk areas, protecting the Littoral buffers and promoting setbacks from the coastline can help reduce vulnerability. 5. Ecosystem-based adaptation, conserving and restoring natural habitats like mangroves, salt marshes, and seagrasses offer multiple benefits. These ecosystems stabilize shorelines, act as nurseries for fish, and sequester carbon, thus mitigating both climate change and erosion impacts. 6. Integrated coastal zone management, ICSM, implementing coordinated planning approaches involving multiple stakeholders is crucial for effective adaptation. ICSM considers interactions between land, sea, and human activities, ensuring sustainable development of coastlines. Importance of implementing solutions, 200 words. The urgency to implement adaptation measures cannot be overstated. Coastal erosion affects billions of people worldwide, disproportionately impacting vulnerable communities, such as those in low-lying areas and small island nations. Without action, entire communities may face displacement, increased poverty, and loss of cultural heritage. Furthermore, protecting coastlines is vital for global climate resilience. Coastal ecosystems store large amounts of carbon, acting as carbon sinks. By protecting them, we preserve their ability to mitigate climate change impacts. Additionally, healthy coastlines enhance biodiversity, enhance water quality, and provide recreational opportunities for coastal communities. Coastal erosion, a consequence of climate change, poses significant threats to our planet's ecosystems and human populations. Rising sea levels, intense storms, and changing weather patterns contribute to the accelerated loss of coastlines worldwide. However, through effective climate change adaptation strategies, the impacts of coastal erosion can be mitigated, and vulnerable areas can be protected. This article has discussed the causes and consequences of coastal erosion while exploring various adaptation measures. From managed retreat to soft engineering and sustainable coastal development. These solutions offer hope for safeguarding our coastlines. Coastal erosion is primarily caused by natural factors such as wave action, currents, and weathering processes. However, human activities have intensified these processes. Poor land management practices disrupt natural sediment flows, exacerbating vulnerability to erosion. Additionally, climate change-induced sea level rise and storm intensification further accelerate coastal erosion rates. The consequences of coastal erosion are devastating for both ecosystems and human communities. Ecologically, critical habitats including wetlands and coral reefs are lost, disrupting fragile ecosystems. This loss affects marine wildlife distribution, impacting fisheries and coastal tourism. For human populations, coastal erosion threatens lives, property, and livelihoods. As shorelines recede, densely populated areas become vulnerable to flooding and storm surges, leading to the destruction of homes, infrastructure, and community displacement. Moreover, economies reliant on coastal resources suffer, impacting industries such as tourism, fishing, and shipping. To address coastal erosion and climate change impacts, comprehensive planning and sustainable solutions are necessary. Managed retreat, which involves relocating buildings and infrastructure away from the coastline, is an effective long-term strategy. Soft engineering solutions, such as beach nourishment, dune restoration, and wetland creation, absorb wave energy and protect coastlines from erosion. However, hard engineering solutions like seawalls and breakwaters should be implemented cautiously due to potential negative impacts on ecosystems and sediment transport. Additionally, sustainable Coastal development practices, ecosystem-based adaptation approaches, and integrated coastal zone management are crucial for effective adaptation. Implementing these solutions is of utmost importance. Coastal erosion affects billions of people worldwide, disproportionately impacting vulnerable communities. Without action, such communities may face displacement, increased poverty, and loss of cultural heritage. Moreover, protecting coastlines contributes to global climate resilience. Coastal ecosystems act as carbon sinks, storing large amounts of carbon. Preserving these ecosystems ensures their ability to mitigate climate change impacts while enhancing biodiversity, water quality, and recreational opportunities for coastal community. Coastal erosion, a consequence of climate change, poses significant threats to our planet's ecosystems and human populations. Rising sea levels, intense storms, and changing weather patterns contribute to the accelerated loss of coastlines worldwide. However, through effective climate change adaptation strategies, the impacts of coastal erosion can be mitigated, and vulnerable areas can be protected. This article has discussed the causes and consequences of coastal erosion while exploring various adaptation measures. From managed retreat to soft engineering and sustainable coastal development. These solutions offer hope for safeguarding our coastlines. Coastal erosion is primarily caused by natural factors such as wave action, currents, and weathering processes. However, human activities have intensified these processes. Poor land management practices,